Hello there and welcome to my last Datastar video of 2025. I love this. I think it never gets old. Before we start with the last visualization for AOC, I wanted to come back on something I said in the previous video about external JavaScript with Datastar. So I finally figured out what I like, how I like to do it, and I'm going to show it to you. So for example, we have this yellow ball that you see here. We can move it with these two buttons, 1 and 2. And 1 is doing it directly in the page, and 2 is doing it from the backend. Let me show you how I did that. So first, we are going to open Micro, take a look at the application code, and we see very simple app.postMove, Datastar response wrapper, async def move, SSE, execute script, vroom, to make the little .go vroom, so I don't remember if it's 2 or if it's 1. But we have a function called vroom. If I open index.html, you're going to see data on click here. We call with the 1 button the function vroom directly, and with the 2 button we make a post request to move, which, as you saw, will use the SDK to execute a script. So how do you do this with Datastar? The way I now like to do it is very simple. I don't add too many JavaScript scripts to my page. I'm just going to add, this line, so a custom JavaScript where I will define my function. And what's important is to add type equals module. So it's exactly like you would do with Datastar, except with a custom script, which when you take a look at it in .js, you see that I'm going to import external libraries directly from this script, so not in the head of my HTML index file, but directly from JavaScript. You can do that with a link. So you see here we have a CDN JS deliver link, so I can put my stuff here. This is what I like to do with CSS as well. I like to import CSS stuff in the CSS file instead of importing a lot of style sheets. So it really matches the way I like to do things. I'm going to import WAPI from the excellent animation library anim.js, but I talked about it in the previous video. And then I'm going to define the vroom function, so as you see here, but I'm going to attach it to the window object to make it globally accessible. And then I just have to define a function which will call web application made, and I will animate I gave a little circle identifier, and I'll translate from 0 to 100 pixels. And this is the way I am now going to write some custom JavaScript to have it interface with Datastar. Expect to see more of these tricks, because I do like anim.js to write the animations, and you can combine it with the power of Datastar, so data on click, data on hover, data init, data whatever. Okay, back to business with the new visualization, so the visualization for day 6 of AOC. Let me give you a bit of context. You see something that looks like a calculator, and the goal was to make a verticalculator. What is a verticalculator? For example, if you have 12 plus 12, it's not going to be equal to 24, alright? But you are going to take the numbers like this. Let me change color real quick. You are going to take the numbers like this, so 22 and 11, and you're going to sum them to have 33. Alright, so if you have, for example, 35 times times 15, it's going to be 55 times 31, which is... I don't know. I don't know I can do that. Alright, so let's test this. Maybe we can figure it out. 35 plus... no, 35, so use R to input the first value. 15. This is the way the problem was formulated, so... And dot, okay. So I guess that 55 times 31 is equal to that. Let's check it. I could have checked the 12 plus 12, but this is an end of the year video. So let's be generous. Wouldn't you know, it works. So you have two calculators here. And in this video, let's see how I did the verti calculator. Okay, let's do the calculator. So you have the HTML file, which is right here. Hope you can see it well. Alright, no special imports or whatever. We are going to put an H1 for the title. And the first thing you're going to notice is this div, which is going to be the calc wrapper, to wrap the calc, as a data on. And when there's a click, you post to calc plus event target first child inner text. So this is even bubbling once again, because I'm not going to define a data on for every button here. I can just capture them inside the wrapper. And I didn't want to slap an attribute on it. I know where everything was, so I can access it with the JavaScript. Event is the click event. Target is the thing that triggered the event. First child. So this div here, inner text, and we get back the text inside the button. You see that we have very little markup. Why would we? We have a div with ID equals screen, which is the one we are going to morph to display the result. We have our buttons centered, everything is nice here, and the little rocket here, as you guess when you click on it, you have a special access to the Datastar website. I don't know if you've seen Bugonia, but I have seen it. Great movie, thought-provoking. Not the best I've seen this year, but there is a calculating machine. How do you say calculatrice? A calculator. Okay, there's a calculator in Bugonia and a special button as well. So go see the movie. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, to say the least. And yeah, tell me in the comments what. Let's turn this into movie reviews. I mean, who cares? Alright, you see very little markups. We are going to use grid everywhere. Maybe we can do a little detour to the CSS of this thing. Very little CSS, actually. Calc wrapper with ace display grid. Grid template columns 1 rem and a half for the North Pole instruments, and take the rest of the space with 1 fr. Pointer events none, very important when you do event bubbling, to disable the pointer events when you don't want them. And for every div, div last child, div last child is this one. It's not for instrument, so if you're wondering how do you write this way, you use writing mode vertical RL, text orientation mixed, text align center, align content center, and stuff like that. Little trick, quite useful. Then the calculator, white background, a grid, for rem for the screen, and 1 fr to take the rest. The first child, so we're going to import a special font. Text align at the end to put the text like a calculator would do. And then another grid for the buttons. Repeat for every div. For rem, aspect ratio 1:1 when you hover a little gold effect. And last child font weight bold, so that was before. Pointer events all, so this is the other part where you re-enable the pointer events that you disable in the calc for this. And tada. So very simple, and finally, let's look at what happens in the root to calculate all of this. You have a post root to calc and we capture value. With Sonic we take back value right there. We get the user ID from the cookies. If no user ID we return. We get the state from the database. The database is actually just a dict that lives within memory when Sonic boots. If not state, return. So very simple. You can do a lot of early returns without compromission with Datastar because it will, thanks to the wrapper here, it will just return 2 or 4 and it won't crash the website or whatever. Just won't work, but it will fail successfully. Computed again none, then I use a match case because I love using match cases. If it's 1, 2, 3, blah blah blah, we add it to the last item in the database. So the last number that was inputted, because in the database we are going to remember every number that was entered to perform the final calculation. I try to limit it to 9 cars to not break up the screen, but I guess people were very nice and didn't try to abuse anything. I used eval in my AOC solution, but I'm not going to use eval here, obviously, for reasons. Then if I click on plus or on times, well, this is on multiply, we check that we have enough data, and if we have enough data for this user, we do some boring computation, blah blah blah. So this is the solution for AOC day 6, and this is not the best one, so if you're interested, go check the relevant threads instead. If we have C for correction, we just remove the last character in the last entry in the database. Very easy way to do some correction like this. See that I pipe every click to the server. Even removing a character, I pipe it to the server. And look how fast it is. This is online. Alright, and if I do R, I just add a new buffer to the database so that the person can continue to input numbers and numbers. So let's see if it works. 12, input 12 plus 33. Perfect, 12 plus 12, 33. Exactly what we like. And then the display will be the final value of the user because he is typing. But if I have computed something in my server, I change display to computed instead. And just like that, very simply, I can return the HTML div screen with the value display right here. Once again, very easy. I just do some stuff and I choose what to render to the user. I pipe everything through the backend, so it's very easy to see where the logic lives. And yeah, this visualization, I think it's pretty cool. I don't know what you think about it, but I had a lot of fun making it, so go check it out. Link will be in the description. Alright, so this is an end of the year video, so we are going to be generous as well and check another code, because if you saw the last video, my good French friend managed to make another visualization with Datastar purely in the browser, and it's magnificent. Let's take a very close look at this little elf right there, and when I click run, it will scan the packages for Santa Claus to find repeating numbers. Look at him go. Look at him go. Fantastic. Alright, let's check his code. So we have a section with a lot of data signals which are declared right ahead. Is scanning false input data. So it's going to be this. Alright, this seems like the default value. Status, invalid found, part 1 output, part 2 output, speed, elf top, elf transition, gift height, chunk size, a lot of default values here. Alright, row speed control, I guess we're going to find a data bind somewhere. Yes, data bind speed and the data text speed, so very much like the first one that I showed in the previous video. Controls. Alright, text area is scanning disabled, so it disabled the text area while is scanning is true, so that means while the code is running. Row stats, just data text everywhere, just data text everywhere. I think it's nice with Datastar is that you can just expect simple stuff to be there. I didn't read this before. Alright, row start. What happens when I click this start button? I'm a bit afraid. Data disabled is scanning or input data length equals 0. Alright, and data on click, we launch the machine, we put is scanning to true, status to scanning, and then we have a lot of JavaScript. Alright, to solve day 2 in JavaScript. And in the JavaScript, you see is modifying the Datastar signal. You can see elf transition and elf top have a little dollar sign, and so there are signals, but he's defining a function, which is funny because I started this video with I define function in JavaScript, but it's absolutely not doing the same thing. Resolve then. Alright, this is very advanced JavaScript. I can't read this at all, but if you have any interest in this, I will put the link in the description as usual. So for this problem, we used a very simple way to animate this. Simply use data style to change, CSS values with Datastar. Transition will be a specified transition, and the top offset of the elf is going to be determined by a signal and a certain pixel value. So the GIF, when I click run, the GIF stack is going to be populated and morphed by Datastar, as you see, with invalid, which means it's going to be highlighted red at some point, and the elf is going to move with a top value like this. I don't know, he keeps it into view, and to be honest, I mean, what a beauty. It's moving! Oh my, I didn't see it's an animated SVG, so would you look at that? He did the laser thing with this elf. Man, I love the elf so much. Filter ID laser glow with a colored, so he blurred the thing and he used, alright, fmerge, so the SVG advanced filters, but that's some nice SVG with the devs here. Lutin, which means elf in French, you learned the word today, thank you. Jambes, chaussures, corps, ceinture. Alright, so legs, shoes, body, belt with 2 rectangles. right arm holding the scanner, a rect and a circle. Alright, the scanner, so G transform, everything's going to be translated, so it's grouping this with a G. 2 rectangles, 2 ellipses, 1 rect, 1 circle, 2 rectangle, 2 ellipses, 1 rect, 1 circle. It's very well made. Alright, left arm, head, pointy hairs. Ah, pointy hairs. With the transform rotate. They're not pointy at all. They're not pointy at all. Hat, eyes, smile. Pink cheeks. With a nice use of 05 opacity to help it blend. The eyes are nice. 2 ellipses and 4 circles. The eyes are very nice. Laser gun. So filter laser glow. I don't know, it's animated. I don't know it's animated. Maybe I need to take a look at the CSS to see that. I don't know. You have an animate. Look at that. You have an animate property in SVG. I didn't know that, to be honest. Well, it's very cool. Yeah, because the SVG was animating without the CSS when I opened it in the single window, so we could have guessed that. Animate the opacity of 1 and the air value to make it to make this dot be bigger. I mean the level of craft. Imagine just solving AOC, putting it online with only Datastar. This is such a nice animation to scan the gifts, but doing this little elf, man, that's next step. So link in the description and go send him love if you're on the Datastar Discord. Alright, before we leave, I wanted to tell you a story. Before we leave, I wanted to tell you a story. So I failed at Advent of Code. I mean, I didn't manage to finish day 7, and this is what the solution for day 7 was. Both parts. Alright, both parts. Solution for day 7. Very simple, and maybe I will show you like the madman drawings I did trying to solve this, and I tried to identify repeating patterns or power of 2 and trying to find relations to the Pascal triangle, and my code looks like this. Alright, this is what everything I did and I tried for the AOC, and the actual solution is like 10 lines long. Alright. So, you know, I said in my video that I do enjoy Advent of Code a lot. But what's important is not the problems in the Advent of Code, alright? It's trying your best first, and then understanding what went wrong. And it's always going to be the same answer every year. What went wrong is I did overcomplicate it. There's no other way to put it. See, I just overcomplicate stuff. Sometimes you're faced with a hard problem and your mind will take you in a maze, and you can figure out the easy way to do this. So yes, this is a Datastar metaphor. Once again, let me remind you, don't overcomplicate it. The end of the year is perfect for that. Have a lovely Christmas with your family and keep things simple, and everything will be fine. Thanks everyone for joining me this year in my Datastar journey. I hope next year will be even better. If you stay till the end of the video, I should have done this by the start, but I made a refresh of my website, so you're welcome to go to leg.ovh and support the channel. The Christmas spirit is in you and you want to support me in doing this video, and you will be able to find every project I did during this year in this new format. Take care everyone, see you on the Discord, and see you next year.